Well, that's a bit awkward. When I planned to come out to this local woodland last night, I was looking at the weather reports, and yeah, it was saying that conditions were not going to be like this. We wouldn't have any fog. It'd be quite a flat, grey, boring morning. My plan was to come out and show you a couple of extra options that you could do in woodlands when you don't necessarily have perfect conditions. Yeah, but we have got a bit of fog. So I am going to be going around looking for classic woodland shots in these sort of foggy conditions that we have. But I will still go through those two options that I was referring to, and I'll talk to you about those a little bit more in a bit. But for now, let's go for a little walk and see what we can find.
Our love is a painting on the wall. I am the shadows and you're the storm. Wherever the wind blows, I'll move along. We're perfect together, but I can't change the weather.
So I haven't had to walk very far to find my first composition this morning. And no, it's not the woodland that you can see behind me. I don't do pine forests. What it is actually on the floor down here. That's right, we're doing macro. And first things first, I just want to send a massive thank you to Steve for loaning me his macro lens, Sigma 70mm f2.8, fantastic lens. Thank you so much for lending this to me, Steve. And actually it's because of the likes of Steve, Louise Welcome, videos they put out recently where they've shot some amazing fungi photography, and also the Thumbs Up Photography group as well. There's been so many fungi photos posted recently. It looks absolutely incredible. So I just really wanted to try and get out there and have a go. And unfortunately, Steve lent me his macro lens. So I just really wanted to get out here this morning and have a play with it. So as I say, I have framed up a composition here. Let's get down on the floor and talk you through it. Right, I'll keep this brief because it's rather uncomfortable on the floor here. But first things first, you'll notice I've used my tripod here and I've actually got it really low to the ground, and I've actually inverted the centre column. So the camera down here is upside down. Now, when I was walking along, I was looking for sort of dead logs like this, because that's usually a prime place where you can find fungi growing out of. And I found this single piece of what I believe to be a porcelain fungus. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And yeah, it's lovely. And just behind it is this sort of burnt bit of bracken here, just adding a little bit of touch of colour to the scene. And yeah, I'm just placing the fungus on the bottom right hand third. It's kind of leaning to the left slightly, and I'm enhancing the natural light we've got coming from the left here with this small portable light that I've got. I'm just placing that sort of 45-degree angle to the fungus there, and yeah, it looks really nice in the back of the camera. Now the camera I'm using is the Sony A7R3, and I've paired it with Steve's Sigma 70mm macro lens. And the Sony A7R3 doesn't have any kind of autofocus bracketing features, but I have a plan, and that is for the use of my remote shutter. It's a Bluetooth one. Now on this remote shutter, it's actually got plus and minus signs, which can be used to, if you've got a zoom lens, you can zoom in and out if it's a power one. But you can also switch it over to focus. So what I'm doing is I'm using this remote here to actually focus the scene, rather than actually touching the camera, rather than actually using the focus ring on the lens. So I'm just literally using the remote to focus, take a shot, focus, take a shot, focus, take a shot. I've taken about 60 shots of this one single piece of fungi here. So yeah, that's quite a novel way to do it. It takes a little bit of a time to do. It's certainly nowhere near as quick as some of the automated focus bracketing features you get in a lot of cameras these days, but it just means I don't have to touch the camera, and when I'm doing it I don't have to be crouched down on the floor like I am right now. I can just stand up and just focus, take the shot, focus, take the shot. But what I'm also doing is as well, when I'm focusing on this piece of fungus, I'm just making sure that I'm just leaving it slightly out of focus to begin with, taking a shot, focusing in, taking a shot, focusing in, taking a shot, until I know that I've gone all the way through that range that I want, so that when I get back into Helicon focus, I've got all that data that I can throw into there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, have a nice sharp image. So that's how it's working anyway. Let me put this photo on screen for you, and we'll go and walk a look around here a little bit. I've seen loads of fungi on the floor, so we'll walk around a little bit, see what we can grab, and I'll talk you through it. you find me on the floor again, and I have found another set of fungi this time, and I've no idea what they are. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. But there's this sort of dead tree root, and you've got these sort of lovely sort of burnt orange colours to the fungi. You've got like a pocket of three here. There's sort of one closest to the lens, which is sort of hanging off this dead tree root, and nestled in between these sort of two big ones, there's a little one in the middle as well. Almost like a little sort of family, if you like. So you've got a mummy and daddy, and you've got a little child there. And I've got my my lights on again, just enhancing that sort of natural light that's coming to the right here. A sort of 45-degree angle to the fungi. It's just lighting up the stems of the fungi here. Really quite nice. Again, doing the same trick I did before with my remote. Just focusing, taking a shot, focusing, taking a shot. So making sure I've got enough data when I get back into post to take the photo. It should turn out quite nice, hopefully. Settings wise, ISO 100, f3.5. I don't know, I just assume that's what is a good thing to do because it's blurring out the background nicely. I don't know, doesn't matter. But yeah, I should have enough data there, as I say, when I get back into post, into Helicon Focus, load them all in, and hopefully have a lovely sharp image. So yeah, there's a couple of options of fungi there. Now, there was something else I wanted to go through this morning, so I need to go and try and find the right setup for that. So yeah, I'm going to walk along, and if I see any fungi I will stop and take a photo, but there's something else I want to have a go at this morning. Again, another good option when you're in the woodland and the conditions aren't brilliant. So for now, put the photo on screen for you, and then we'll go and try and find what I'm looking for. Okay, so I've been walking for a little bit, and while walking along, I am looking for that other technique that I want to show you this morning, but I had to stop at this dead tree root here. It's covered in fungi actually, but there's a couple that I've taken already that look absolutely amazing. So this one I've got framed up here. You've got three little bits of fungi just growing out the side of the bark here. And you've got kind of one at the bottom and then two at the top, and it looks really nice. Now I put my bag here and I've been standing here because the sun behind me was just giving too much light to this scene, so I wanted to block that light but actually fill it in myself with my own light here. It was just far too harsh. I did the same with the one just over there, which I'll talk you through in a second. But yeah, really nice. Again, same sort of thing, using my remote just to focus a bit, take the photo, focus a bit and take the photo, and it's looking nice in the back of the camera. But this one's nice, but the one that I took over here I think is probably my favourite so far this morning. So let's have a little chat through that. So this one here I'm really pleased with. Now to the eye it's got a brown sort of sheen to it, but on the back of the camera the bonnet almost had like a purple sheen to it, but the actual stalk on the actual fungi itself had almost like an orange tone to it. Now, being the clumsy oaf that I am, when I was setting up this composition here, I have unfortunately knocked it and broke off one of the fungi. Yeah, sorry about that. But it's a really nice scene. You've got basically these almost growing out of one stem almost, but it gets splits out into two, and you've got these two pieces of fungi here, and it looks really nice. I went portrait orientation just to give a bit more of the interest of the bark here, where it sort of blurs out into the background. Really quite happy. Again, I used my bag here when the sun was coming through just to shield it a bit from the light, and just filled it in with my own light just so I can control that light a bit more. But really happy with this one. I think just hope it works out when I get back into helicon focus, and that the focus bracketing works as I intended it to. But both of these shots I'm really quite happy with. I'm really enjoying this morning. The one thing I'm not enjoying is being crouched down on the floor like this. It's killing my legs, it really is. Yeah, it's just so great to be out. I've been out now for about 3 hours, just gently walking around trying to find stuff like this, and it's taken quite a while just to finesse the compositions a bit. And it's very similar in a sense to woodland photography. I'm looking for things like separation, making sure there's nothing distracting in the background, or that they're not intersecting in a bad way. So yeah, I think I've got that. We'll see, but I won't really know until I get back into post. But if both of these work out, I will put them on screen for you now. There's some silver birch down here, and I want to talk you through another technique that you can try in the woodland when conditions aren't quite right. So I found the silver birch now, and I've put my tripod away and put my normal 28-200 back on the camera. And the reason I've done that is because recently I saw a photo from a photographer called Fiona Campbell on Instagram, and it was a beautiful photo, it really was. And it was of some silver birch where she'd used ICM to still keep some structure to the actual trunks of the silver birch, but then she'd used another shot where she photographed the leaves, the golden leaves of the silver birch, and then she blended those in post, and made a really interesting, sort of really arty looking image. So that's what I want to have a go at this morning, and it's again something that you could possibly do in a woodland where you haven't got ideal conditions. All you need really is some silver birch, because the white really stands out nicely, a camera that can do a semi-long exposure, and some imagination. Let's have a go. So what I've done is I've just positioned myself in the sense that I have got some nice separation between these really straight silver birch, because I want those streaks of the silver birch in the scene. If they're all sort of blended together, it's just going to look like one big white mess, which is not what we want. So switch the camera on. I'm shooting at f11. I'm going to try and start off at 1/13 of a second, because I don't want complete blur, I don't want a complete mess, I want some structure to the branches. And the sun's just come out as well, which will probably just help a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm going to take the shot, I'm just going to move my camera up and down like that, just to make sure I've got some nice sort of streaks of these trees as the main part of the photo. So something like that, up and down. Have a quick look on the back of the camera and see what we've got. So I'm thinking possibly something a bit like that, which you probably can't work out, as the base of my photo. You can kind of just make out, obviously they are silver birch, but you can also see the sort of like the burnt tones of this bracken here, which looks really quite nice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my shutter speed higher to 1/80th of a second. I've dropped the f-stop down as well, and I'm going to pick out some little elements of golden medallions amongst these silver birch. And then the plan is, when I get back to the PC later, I will use the blending options within Photoshop and try and bring these together to create a sort of really painterly sort of autumn scene. That's the plan. I have no idea this is going to work, but it's something I wanted to try for a couple of weeks now, so I'm having a go. So let's take a shot of some leaves. There's some nice leaves just up here. Just zoom in on those, get them nice and sharp. Take the shot of the golden medallions. It's really helping that the sun's lighting them up as well, just really enhancing that colour. Now, I'm not scared of really bumping up the colour in post this, because it's not, you know, it's not a quintessential sort of woodland scene. This is going to be one of those photos that's going to require a bit of work, a bit of finesse in post to really make it how I want it to look. So I think I've got everything I need there. If they do turn out any good, I'll pop them on screen for you.
So if I'm being completely honest, I don't think this photo really worked. While yes, it has got arguably a painterly look to it, I just feel that it doesn't quite sit right as a composition. And that's something I found when I got back into post. While yes, you can get really creative with this technique, the basics of photography are still vitally important, such as composition and light. Now this second photo, actually, I really quite like. I didn't actually talk about it in the video, but I actually pointed the camera upwards towards the canopy and just captured these 3 silver birch trunks against a clear sky, then just blended them together with some golden medallions, and actually I think it makes quite a nice, really painterly, almost minimalist image.
So I hope those photos turned out all right, because I have just found another scene here of a silver birch. It's a bit lower to the ground of the branches coming off it, so that might actually work out even better. So as you can see, this silver birch here has got these sort of like branches coming off to the side and some lovely golden medallions. So I'm thinking if I get over there facing that way, it could look really quite nice. Let's go and have a look. So from about here it looks quite nice. There's a nice separation between the branches, the light coming through, just lighting up the side of the birch. It's just what I think I'm looking for. I think, like I say, I don't know how Fiona did it, but I think I've got a rough idea of how she did it. So we'll have a go. It's just experimentation, and that's the beauty of photography sometimes. When you're stuck in a bit of a rut, just go and experiment with your camera and you'll really enjoy it. Right, so again, put the aperture one for f13, shutter speed, we'll go sort of 1/6 of a second, and what we at? About 70mm, so it's just about this sort of set of trees here. Again, frame it up in such a way that it's quite nice, and just take the shots and move the camera and hope we've got something we can work with. That actually looks quite nice. Okay, so now another shot just for the golden medallions. I'm copyrighting that term, by the way. Going to go back up to f6.3 and then bring the shutter speed to about 1/60th, and just focus on the leaves. Take the shot. Some nice sharp leaves to work with there. So again, bring those two together in post, and who knows what it's going to look like. You'll know before me. There's another potential for one of these shots just over here I want to try. More with side light. I wonder if that's going to work any better. So I'm going to frame this up now and have a go. Hopefully you can see okay, because you're kind of facing towards the sun now, but there's this like silver birch nestled between these other ones that are really quite dark, which does look quite nice, but you can see the colours there. They're beautiful. Those golden medallions, when I mix it in with this blend, could look really quite nice. And there's nothing stopping me with this, really using these golden medallions on some of the shots I've taken back over there. No one will know any different, apart from me and obviously you lot. But let's frame it up again and have a go. So again, going for a longer shutter speed, one sort of 1/13th of a second, f16. Get a sort of composition that I like, probably about there, it's quite nice. And fire the shutter and move up and down. You change the variation in how quickly I'm moving as well. So I've got lots of different options to play with. And yeah, have a quick look through. It does look quite interesting, I must say. Not sure it's going to work, but we'll have a go. And then we're going to take another shot now of these golden medallions at a faster shutter speed. So back up to 1/60th of a second. Drop the f-stop down. Get a nice focus on them. And take the shot. So yeah, how it's going to work out, I don't know. But that shot and this shot, I'll pop on screen.
Our love is a painting on the wall. I am the shadows and you're the storm. Wherever the wind blows, I'll move along. We're perfect together, but I can't change the weather. Somewhere between the clouds, I think I saw the sky, and we could paint it blue, but it don't matter to you.
So hopefully those images turned out all right. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I do really hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm just walking back to the car now. But there's a couple of options there for you potentially if you're stuck in a bit of a rut with your woodland photography, or you just want to try something different and get creative. So yeah, obviously for macro you'll need a macro lens or a focus extender or something like that. But yeah, for what we just did there, all you need is a camera and a lens and a bit of creativity. So yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, why not hit the like button? And if you've really enjoyed it, why not subscribe to the channel? But for me here in this woodland, I'll see you soon.